LightWorks is an ASU initiative to help the university become a leader in solar power and other light-inspired research. The initiative will capitalize on ASU's strengths in renewable energy fields, including artificial photosynthesis, biofuels, and next-generation photovoltaics. LightWorks will eventually broaden to include other light-based projects, such as lasers for biomedical applications and energy-efficient lighting. Joining us now is the new director of LightWorks, Dirks, a PhD graduate in chemistry from ASU and former head of BP China and BP Asia Pacific. Good to have you on your show. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Did I get that right? Is that what LightWorks pretty much is?
That was a great description of what LightWorks. I think you've captured exactly what we would like to do with the initiative.
Give us an example of light-inspired research.
Well, there's a number of different examples that I could give because in the case of ASU, we have a lot of activity going on in that area. But I'd like to maybe mention two because they're high on our list of priorities right now. One is a consortium that we've just put together that we call the Sustainable Algal Biofuels Consortium, a mouthful. This consortium is over 30 institutions from around the United States and a few foreign ones. And our intention is to get a grant from DOE, about $70 million, and look at what is it really going to take to make algae an alternative source of fuel for motor fuels, jet fuel, for the future of the country. That's one example, algae. The second example is a DOE project, again, solar to fuels. Leave the plant out, convert light directly to motor fuels.
And ASU is leading the way on both of these projects.
We are in the lead on both of these projects as principal investigators.
Is there collaboration, how much collaboration I should say, with other universities, industries, government agencies, these sorts of things?
There is a lot of collaboration because as broad and deep as we are, we can't do everything. And in the case of the algae, SABC as we called it, we have more than 30 partners. A good mix of national labs. Two of the other co-leaders are national labs. And then we have business and universities as well.
Skeptics will say, sounds great, wonderful research, show me something, give me something tangible. Is there anything to show now? Will there be something to show in the near future?
There are things to show right now with algae. In fact, if you go to the web, you can find any number of companies that are involved in algal-based research and producing specialty chemicals as well as fuels. So it's happening now, but very much at the demonstration level. There's still a lot of R&D to be done. The point of what we're going to try to do is actually create a framework for other researchers to see what the pathway forward is going to be. What do you have to do? Where do you have to make improvements so that we can really get this into the marketplace?
You come from the business world. I mean, you grew up at BP, that's and all over the business world with BP Asia Pacific and BP China. I ask you this as someone who comes from a bottom line world. Renewables, we hear about algae, we hear about solar this and sustainable that, and yet there are some who say it's all pie in the sky, for lack of a better phrase. How do you get that kind of realistic attitude into something that right now has a lot of vision to it, but not much in the way of tangible process?
I think the way that you do it is very much the way we're approaching the Algal Biofuel Consortium, and that is you really look at combining the economics with the research right up front, so that the kind of things that we do in the research laboratory have sitting behind them information about the economics and why success at this particular experiment is going to improve the economics. That's the starting point for it. But I think at the same time we have to step back and recognize that the energy system that we have today is very large and very highly evolved. And not only is the production and distribution of energy highly evolved, but the way that it's used has co-evolved with it. So automobiles evolved with the corner gasoline station, which evolved with the pipeline distribution and with the technology to find and produce oil. It's going to take us time to replace that.
It's going to take a new paradigm, in other words.
It's going to take a new paradigm, although the one that underlines SABC is we would like to take advantage of some of the infrastructure that already exists. In other words, produce algae oil that can go into a refinery for the final stages of refining, and then can go into the existing distribution system and go into motors that operate today.
As the head of BP Asia Pacific, BP China, big corporations, distant parts of the world, we constantly hear America is falling behind. The U.S. needs to catch up, especially with Asia, or we are just going to be left behind in the dust, not just in terms of the economy, but in terms of research, of R&D, these sorts of things. Is that what you're seeing out there?
I don't believe that we are falling behind in the way that people would sometimes have you believe. There's no question that the capacity to do research and the capacity to make investments have improved enormously, particularly in Asia over the last decade. But I think we underestimate the research capacity that the United States has, the number of universities that can do world-class research, the innovation that we can bring to bear in finance and in the way that we get new inventions to the marketplace. There's very few countries in the world that can do that. But we can't take it for granted. We have to continue to invest in it. We have to continue to take advantage of it.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Horizon is off the next couple of days as we make way for special programming, but please join us again Friday for the Journalists Roundtable. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.